You have a show that you have to go and do.
Right.
So give us before you do that, go ahead and give us your predictions for this weekend's games.
Okay. Starting with
Rams and Packers.
Oh, Packers, easy. In that cold weather, LA team going down there to play that team. They're going to take Devontae Adams, going to match up in that game. It's going to be hard to get him the ball, but Aaron won't shy away from that. And they can throw the ball in the snow, sleet, doesn't matter. So Packers will come out on top in that game because they can run the ball too.
And how about the Browns and Chiefs?
Ooh, Chiefs have to win this game. They can't come off a bye week and lose, being the champions. So, and they know how to win games even when they're behind. So, but I just see the Browns giving them a run for their money, but it won't be enough. Chiefs will win.
Okay. Bills and the Ravens.
Scary game.
That's going to be a fun one.
Yes. Yeah. This Buffalo team is for real, though. This is not a fluke. Josh Allen is the real deal. This guy has been groomed, and he looked like a seasoned vet right now. So I'm liking Buffalo in this game to keep that offense rolling. They do have enough defense to keep their eye on Lamar Jackson and not let him affect them. And I don't think if they can keep Lamar in that pocket, or at least kind of make it hard for him and force him to be the thrower rather than the runner, then they'll win that game. Buffalo will win the game.
All right. And last but not least, Bucks and Saints. I have to ask, who's going to come on top?
Saints at home in the Dome.
Okay.
And I think it'll be close, though, but I think Saints at home in the Dome. Full team back. The weapons are rolling again, and Alvin Kamara is the dual threat again. So I like the Saints in that one.
All right. We'll have to probably have you back on next week too, and
sure.
and talk out these predictions and emotions following the emotional weekend.
No, really something else. 6 games rather than that usual 4. That was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But I appreciate you guys having me in, and you guys do an awesome job. And let me know, of course, when the next time is. I'd love to come in anytime.
Of course. Thank you. Appreciate it. You have I just want to say have a great night, have a great show. But before that, let our listeners know where they can find you.
Oh, they can always find me on all social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, of course, Facebook, and Facebook Live when we do a show. And it's all with the same tag, Casual Sports, KAZUAL, and the Z is at the end of the word sports on all those social media outlets. You can find us. And also you can download our mobile app at the website at www.ksrnaz.com. And you can get all those shows, including this wonderful show, at your beck and call right on the dang on apps for Android and for Apple. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time for sure.
Thank you, brother.
Awesome.
All right.
See you next time.
Take care.
So, my gosh, so much to talk still. And amazing to have Earl on, always great, a great friend. You make sure little promo here, go out to Casual Sports Radio Network, KSRN Arizona. Go listen to us. We bring you a new show every Tuesday night. 6:00 is our new hour, 6 to 8, 2-hour show. And if you can't catch us on there, you miss us, whatever, or you can't catch us on there for whatever reason, go ahead and download from all major podcast platforms. You can find us on there as well. So going back to some more football, Ed.
Yes.
So, yes.
Let's do it.
Yes. All right. So I got Earl's takes on his predictions and his thoughts on this last weekend's games. So I know he had them for a short amount of time, but I want to dial a little bit in on yours before we move on. And I know we're going to have another amazing guest jump on soon. But give me your biggest surprise and your biggest disappointment.
In this past weekend's games?
This last weekend's games, yes.
Okay. The biggest disappointment as I look at these games, it would have to be the Steelers. Again, Ben throwing 4 interceptions, the Steelers turning the ball over 5 times, only getting 52 yards rushing, which is way worse than what they usually get on a weekly basis during the regular season. 52 yards rushing in the playoffs is not going to get it done, especially against a Cleveland Browns team that can run the ball. And you've got a confident quarterback in Baker Mayfield, regardless of whether he lost his head coach, Kevin Stefanski, and a couple of other coaching personnel with the COVID situation. It didn't matter. Stefanski had his stamp and his approval on everything the Browns did on Sunday night in Pittsburgh, and that's why they came out victorious, scored 48 points on the Pittsburgh Steelers, on their big brother, knocked them out of the playoffs. Finally, they got their first road win since 1969 in the playoffs, Joe. So they had lost 8 straight road games before they won on Sunday night against Pittsburgh. What a great performance by them. And now they'll really get a true test this weekend when they go to Kansas City and try to knock off the world champions. And that guy that PLR calls an alien, number 15, yeah, they're going to have their hands full. But I believe Stefanski will be back, and he'll be ready for this weekend's game in KC. But that's a tall order to go down and knock off the world champions. That's the most disappointing.
Let me ask, just kind of looking ahead into this coming weekend's games. We have the Browns, of course, going against the Chiefs, who we just talked a little bit about. So this is a test, I think, for the Browns and Baker Mayfield, because he was able to go ahead and say, hey, I can come out and do this and beat Big Ben and the Steelers, knock them down. And they did that. We saw what that was. What does this mean for the Browns and Baker Mayfield if they're able to bring down Mahomes and the Chiefs? It's not going to be an easy task. We know that. And I'm, hoping that it's going to be a great game if they come out like they did, if the Browns come out like they did against the Steelers. But what does this mean for the Browns and Baker Mayfield?
Johanna, it would mean everything. It will be one of the biggest wins in the Browns' history, whether it was in Baltimore or whether it was in Cleveland, before they moved back to Cleveland, before they left my home state of Maryland to go to Cleveland. It would be one of the biggest wins in their franchise history to go down. If they can go to Kansas City and dethrone the world champion Chiefs, knock off Patrick Mahomes and those guys and all the weapons he has, if they can go down there and beat them, that would mean the world. That would be Baker Mayfield's biggest win as a starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. And that would let everybody know that a few years ago, this team was 0-16. Everybody remembers when they did not win a single game a few years ago. And now they're 12-5, and they are moving on to the divisional round of the AFC playoffs. And they have a potential chance to beat Kansas City and maybe move on to the AFC championship. But that's, kind of putting the cart before the horse and everything. But they still have to go down and take care of business in Kansas City. But if they play on this weekend on Sunday afternoon in Kansas City like they did against Pittsburgh, then Kansas City is going to have a tough time trying to knock off the Browns and send those guys home, the pesky Browns, because they are that good. And Baker Mayfield is playing his best football. I know he had some ups and downs and some tosses and turns and some swerves and missed narrowly going off a cliff on certain parts of the season because of his play. But he turned his thing around toward the end of the season and got even more laser focused, Joe, and some inspired football and led his team to the playoffs. And I'm so proud of that young man for being able to withstand everything that was thrown at him.
Yeah, no, same here. And I'm happy for him, and just can't wait to see how he's going to come out on, Sunday that they play?
Yeah, Sunday afternoon, yes.
On Sunday against the Chiefs. So, yeah.
And Joe, how great is it to see all these young quarterbacks play well? You got Patrick Mahomes, you've got Baker Mayfield, you've got Lamar Jackson, you've got Josh Allen, you've got potentially, if John Wolford comes back, I know he's kind of a new guy, an up and coming guy, but he played well against the Arizona Cardinals, and who knew what he could have done in Seattle if he didn't get injured by Jamal Adams, if he didn't get a neck injury. But he played well, at least in his first game as a starting quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. So many great young quarterbacks in this league to go along with like Justin Herbert and others that have played really well this season. So that bodes well for the National Football League, that this generation of young quarterbacks are leading their football teams to success.
And this is something that you really don't get to see in any type of season in football, having the young players or the amount of young quarterbacks playing at the caliber of that they're playing. So, and I think that's great. And we're only getting to see, and they're getting, how great they are. And hopefully, it just continues for them. Which I think that's great. We have Aaron Rodgers, we have Drew Brees, we have Tom Brady, but now this is going to be the next generation of quarterbacks. Not only quarterbacks, but we also have other players as well. They're just the up and coming, and what, they will be the image of football as these veterans and these greats, soon will be retiring and passing the baton on to these younger players.
And that just bodes well for the National Football League that, as you said, these young quarterbacks and all these other young players at their skill positions can continue to lead their respective teams to success and make the NFL even that much better, even that much more marketable, and that much more money, and that much more, from that standpoint, they can continue to market themselves even more because they've got all these players that these young kids look up to and they love and they adore. Biggest surprise was Derrick Henry only getting 40 yards rushing against the Baltimore Ravens. I know that the Ravens defense is outstanding, but Derrick Henry, 40 yards rushing. The Tennessee Titans had one rushing first down the entire game. They had 209 yards as a team, and the Ravens went down to Nashville and shut them down. And they're moving on to Buffalo to take on Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. But Lamar Jackson, what he did with his legs, that great. Did you see that 48-yard, that touchdown run he did? That was a work of art. John Harbaugh said it's the best run he's ever seen from a quarterback. And I kind of agree. That was one of the most electrifying plays I've ever seen any player do, let alone a quarterback. But Lamar Jackson, like Earl said, he finally got off the schneid, got his first playoff victory. So now he can quiet all the critics that said, oh, well, Lamar Jackson can't produce in the biggest game. But yes, he did. He produced on Sunday on the road against a quality Tennessee Titans team. And now he gets to go on the road this weekend and try to do it again against another great football team in the Buffalo Bills.
Yes. And the Titans, they started off well in that game too.
Yeah, they were up 10-0. Yes.
On Sunday. So when I was like, oh my gosh, I'm like, it's dark horse. Oh my goodness, they're going to probably make it. And then next thing you know, just switched for the Ravens, and it was like no turning back for them. And because I happened to step away, and then I come back and I'm like, wait a second. And that's, the play that you just mentioned. I was like, what just happened? I missed that. I saw the replay, and it was like, but it was no turning back for the Ravens after that. And they just put a stop to the Titans. And that was, I will say that was also my surprise, because I did not expect for that.
So Baltimore was down 10-0 after the first quarter. Then all of a sudden, that momentum shift, that thing, Uncle Mo just totally went on Baltimore's way, and they scored 17 straight points, and they did not look back after that. Lamar Jackson talked to Lisa Salters after the game and said, you know what? Even though we were down 10-0, they weren't worried about it. They kept within themselves. They didn't panic. They didn't freak out. They didn't get frustrated because they were down 10-0, because they knew they had 45 minutes of football left to go. They believed in themselves. They knew that they got to this point of the season for a reason. They won their last 4 games of the season and got into the playoffs. They were playing just about as hot as football as the team they're going to face this weekend in Buffalo. Buffalo won 6 straight games coming into the postseason, and Baltimore was just as hot. And they've got their running game together. Lamar Jackson is confident, and he's got some weapons. He's got Hollywood Brown had a great game on Sunday. The local Arizona kid, Mark Andrews, had a good game. He caught 4 passes on Sunday against Tennessee, and their defense is outstanding. Joe, Pernell McPhee, Derek Wolfe, Marlon Humphrey, the guy that used to play here by the name of Calais Campbell, he played well. Marcus Peters. They've got a good defense, Joe. They've got a good football team, and they are peaking at the right time.
They are. And speaking about peaking, let's go ahead and talk ahead a little bit more and dive in deeper into this weekend's matchups.
All right.
Games. So, and it's just going to be good. Just keeping it with the Ravens, and then they're going to be facing off the Bills. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen. I don't think I could have expected any better teams to go off against each other than what we have going on this weekend, to be honest. Because I think that's going to be,